What's up, guys? AP Battle here from Rock Gaming. Today I'm going to be going over a short Shadow Priest guide for WoW Classic. I personally will be playing Shadow Priest when Classic hits, as they are just PvP monsters. PvE, not the best. They're okay, but to be honest, you might only be getting invited to semi-hardcore or hardcore raids for one reason, but we'll talk about that a little later. We're going to go over talents while leveling, as well as rotations while leveling, and talents and rotation at level 60. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so you hit level 10, you're wondering, where do I go from here? Now, for the first 5 points, you can either put them in Wand Specialization or Spirit Tap. Personally, I like to put them in Wand Specialization, get that Wand damage up right away. Now, as a Shadow Priest, you're going to be going very, very fast, so using your Wand is going to be your best bet. You're going to need to conserve mana. You're going to want to front load your spells, throwing a Smite and then a Shadow Word Pain out, and then wanding your target down, or a Mind Blast and Shadow Word Pain, and then wanding your target down after that. So we're going to go 5 into Wand Specialization. After that, we're going to go 5 into Spirit Tap, which gives you 100% bonus to your Spirit, as well as 50% mana regen while casting. That's pretty big. If you pulled 2 mobs, you killed the first one, you're going to start regenning mana even though you're casting to kill that second one. So that's very important. You're going to want to keep Spirit Tap up. Now, with that being said, if you're duo leveling, meaning leveling with a friend or a couple people that you just met, make sure you let them know that you need to get that last hit on the target. If you don't get that last hit, you don't get Spirit Tap, you're going to be sitting down and you're going to be drinking a lot more while you level up. So make sure you get that last hit, guys. Make sure your party knows that you need to get that last hit. After that, we'll go 2 into Shadow Word Pain to increase the spell for 6 seconds. It's pretty important, getting that extra damage without having to recast Shadow Word Pain. And that's it for the Shadow talent tree until after level 39, guys. We're actually going to jump back over to Discipline, and we're going to put 3 into Power Word Shield, which is going to increase the damage that the shield can take by 15%. We'll put 2 into Power Word Fortitude, increasing the stamina by 30% that you gain. 3 into Meditation, allowing 15% mana regen as you're casting. That's flat rate, so even while you're casting, you're now regenning mana, which again, mana is super important. You can serve as a Shadow Priest. Then I like to go 1 into Inner Focus, giving us that free spell cast after we use it. It's a 3-minute cooldown. Also, it increases the crit chance by 25% of the spell. So, it's a 3-minute cooldown, guys. Don't be afraid to use it. It's not like you're saving it. It's not a 30-minute cooldown. If you're low on mana, throw an Inner Focus out. Get that cooldown refreshed again. It's a good way to kind of conserve your mana. I'll go 1 into Martyrdom to give me a 50% chance into focused casting for 6 seconds. Then I go 5 into Mental Agility, reducing the cost of my instant spells by 10%. That's your Renew, Shadow Word Pain, Power Word Shield, etc. It's a good way to start conserving mana there as well. And then for my last 3 talents, I'm going to go Improved Inner Fire, which increases the armor of an Inner Fire by 30%. It's pretty nice, good damage reduction there. And that's as far as we're going to go when we hit 39, guys. Once we hit 40, we're going to travel back, talk to our trainer, and we're going to respec our talents. Now we're going to dip deep into the Shadow Tree. Now, since we respec, the order of these points don't really matter until we get back up to our 41 talents. So we put 5 into Spirit Tap, put our 2 into Shadow Word Pain, then we're going to put 3 into Shadow Focus, which reduces the chance that the target can resist your spells by 6%. Guys, this is pretty much spell hit. You're going to want 3 points in that. Then we're going to get our Mind Flay spell. We'll do 2 in Psychic Scream, reduce that cooldown by 4 seconds. And then we're going to do 2 in Mind Blast. And we're only going to do 2 in Mind Blast. And the reason for this is that it will reduce the Mind Blast cooldown by 1 second. Later on, you'll be doing your rotation. You'll be doing a Mind Blast and then 2 Mind Flays. Mind Flay is a 3-second channel. If you do 2 of them, it's 6 seconds. And throw in the global cooldowns, you're looking at about 7.5 seconds of cooldown there. By reducing Mind Blast by 1 second, you just made the Mind Blast cooldown 7 seconds. So if you go any more than that, your Mind Blast will come off cooldown while you're still casting your second Mind Flay. There's really no point for it, so we're only going to put 2 points in the Mind Blast. After that, we'll go 3 into Shadow Reach, which increases the range of our shadow spells, which is awesome. And then 5 into Shadow Weaving. Now, Shadow Weaving, this is the reason you're getting invited to raids, guys. Shadow Priests, their damage isn't amazing. You're going to be mid-tier no matter how good you are. Shadow Priests just don't have the DPS in raids. So the reason they are brought is for shadow weaving. What shadow weaving does is it puts a debuff on the target that increases shadow damage dealt to it by 3%, stacking up to 5 times. So it increases shadow damage done to the target by 15%, not only from your shadow spells, but from all the raid shadow spells. So your warlocks are going to be doing more damage, significant more damage with this debuff on the target. So that's the reason you get brought to raids in Classic WoW. After that, we'll go 1 into silence, which gives you a 5-second silence, which is pretty sweet. Not only for PvP, but if you're fighting a lot of casters as you level, it's a good way to pull casters out of groups as they can't just sit back and cast on you. I'll go 1 into Vampiric Embrace, giving you that heal from the damage you do. 5 into Darkness, increasing your overall damage. And then finally, Shadow Form, which increases your damage by 15% and reduces physical damage by 15%, which is huge. This is where you start really putting out some damage, guys. Now, once you hit level 41, we're going to start back into the discipline tree in pretty much the same order that we did. So we'll put 5 into Wand Specialization, get that wand damage up, 3 into your shield, 2 into Fort, 1 into Inner Focus, 3 into Meditation, 1 into Martyrdom, 5 into Mental Agility, and now you're level 60. So this is what my talent tree is going to look like at level 60, once I hit 60. Now, after I hit 60, this is all going to change. So that was me leveling up from level 39 to 60. This is what my talent tree will look like. But once I hit level 60, I'm going to respec one more time, hopefully for the last time, as it gets expensive to respec, guys. So since we have all our 60 points, I'm going to go through this really quick as there's not really that many changes to the tree. Not going to get Spirit Tap now that I'm level 60. Not going to be getting that last hit as much on the targets while you're raiding or PvPing. If you're just grinding mobs or you're just kind of farming mats and you want to keep Spirit Tap, that's fine. But if you're going to kind of go into the PvP or raid scene, Spirit Tap really isn't going to help you out too much. I like going into Blackout, getting 5 points into that for 10% chance to stun the target for 3 seconds. That is just huge in PvP. Works really well. It's nice out in the open world too if you're grinding materials, doing stuff like that, as you can stun your targets that way. And that's really all the only change that we have in the Shadow Tree, so let's just fill this in quick. 2 into Shadow Word Pain, 3 into Shadow Focus, 2 into Mind Blast, 2 into Psychic Scream, get the Mind Flay, 3 into Shadow Reach, 5 into Shadow Weaving, Silence, Vampiric Embrace, 5 into Darkness, and then your Shadow Form. Over in the Discipline Tree, we're not going to get Wand Specialization now, as the efficiency really isn't needed as much as it was for leveling timely. I like to go 5 into Unbreakable Will, which increases an additional 15% chance to resist stuns, fears, and silences. Works really, really well in PvP. Nice in PvE, but in PvP, this is a very, very useful talent. We'll go 2 into Power Word Fortitude, 3 into Shield, 1 into Martyrdom, 3 into Meditation, 1 into Inner Focus. And here's where I kind of lean a little bit more to the PvP once I hit 60. I'm going to go 2 into Improved Mana Burn to reduce the cast time by 0.5 seconds, and 3 into Improved Inner Fire for that extra armor. If you're more into the PvE, you can go into the Mental Agility to reduce that mana cost of the instant spells, or early on if your tank is having trouble in raids holding aggro, some people take some points and like to put them into Shadow Affinity to reduce that threat. My tank is going to be just fine. If he's not, trust me, I'll let him know, but I feel like he's going to be able to hold aggro, so I like to go a little bit more to the PvP side. Also, sometimes people take the Martyrdom if they're more PvE. You can take that point, you can put it into Silent Resolve to reduce your threat a little bit more. But this is pretty much my 60 talent tree. This is what I'm going to be running early on for the MCZG raids. Later on, when the harder raids come out, I might tweak this a little bit to go a little bit more PvE, but I like this setup as I can do PvP and PvE without having to switch any talents around and spend that extra gold. So here's my talent tree for early 60. So as far as your rotation goes, at level 1, obviously all you have is Smite, so throw a few Smites on the target and then use your melee weapon. Don't be afraid to use that melee weapon in the beginning, guys, as it will save your mana. Then you'll get Shadow Word Pain, you'll Smite, Shadow Word Pain, throw a few more Smites out, and then again, melee down your weapon. It's okay to use that melee weapon to conserve the mana. Hopefully by level 10, you can get lucky by finding a wand or make friends with an enchanter who can make you a wand. You got to buy one from the auction house early on in release. It will probably be a little bit expensive, but worth it, as once you get your wand, then you're going to really start to be efficient. You're going to want to front load your spells. You're going to Mind Blast, Shadow Word Pain, and then wand down your target after that. At level 40, once you get into your Shadow Tree, you're going to change things up just a little bit. I like to throw a Vampiric Embrace first, then a Mind Blast, then a Shadow Word Pain, and then either wand my target down or maybe throw a Mind Flay out and then wand my target down after that. The reason I throw Mind Flay out, do a little bit of damage. Some enemies are a little harder than others. So I'll Vampiric Embrace, Mind Blast, Shadow Word Pain, and Mind Flay, and then wand down my target after that. If they're very hard, I'll throw 2 Mind Flays out and then continue to use my wand. Once you get into the raid, though, things change up a little bit. Now, there's only 16 debuff slots for Classic WoW. You don't want to be using your Vampiric Embrace on raid bosses, as you might take up a slot. It depends on your raid makeup. If you don't have a lot of Warlocks or Hunters or Mages, you might be able to get away with using it, but if you do, save those debuff slots for them, as Vampiric Embrace really only heals your party. If it healed the whole raid, it'd be different, but it only heals your party, so save that debuff slot for your Warlocks and your Mages and your Hunters. But what I like to do is I'll throw Shadow Word Pain on the boss first, then I'll Mind Blast, then I'll throw 2 Mind Flays out, and then I'll Mind Blast, then 2 more Mind Flays, but keeping in mind that my Shadow Word Pain must stay up. Once that falls off, you're going to want to put it right back up so your ticks are continually ticking away at the target. As far as PvP goes, obviously there's not really a set rotation for that. You're still going to be Shadow Word Pain, Mind Blast, and Mind Flaying the target in somewhat of an order, but there's a lot bigger of a difference. You're going to be throwing out silences to stop heals, big casts. You're going to be throwing out Psychic Streams, again, to mitigate some damage or stop some casts. So it's more of a feel rotation, if anything else, when you get to the PvP. That's pretty much it, guys. That's how I'm going to be playing Priest, Shadow Priest at level 60. If you have any suggestions or other ways you're going to do it, I'd love to hear what you guys are going to be doing down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, I stream almost every night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/apbattle. It'd be awesome to see you guys over there. Hope you guys enjoy Classic. Me, personally, I'm going to be making an Alliance Dwarf Priest. I love that Fear Ward. Can't go wrong with that. You guys are going Horde, and you're on my server. Might see you on the other end of these shadow spells, but hope you guys have fun, and we'll see you in the next video.